Welcome back to EHCichlids. Today we're going to be doing our third Fishroom tour. There's not much more for me to say, so let's get right into it. Start at S2. We have the usual yellow ACI in here. They haven't gone anywhere. We also now have a Sino Mobamba Yellow Blaze female in here. That's pretty much one of the only changes in this tank. So let's move on. Right next door is M1. And there's a couple of new additions in here. This is a big peacock male. He came from the 150. He's recovering from a little bit of an illness. So this is kind of like my recovery tank after the med tank. So that's why he's here. He's got a little gash on his face there. But that used to be a lot worse, so he's definitely making some good progress. We still have the female Doctaris. We now have the Jalo Reef females up here. I don't believe they were in this tank last week. I believe they've moved up during the past 2 weeks. The Yellow Lab's still in here, and most of the other fish that were in here are gone. So let's move on to S1. Here is S1. There's quite a couple new fish in here. As you can see, some of my Venustus from that new group. They were in the, I believe they were in the 10 gallons 2 weeks ago. They moved up to the 30 gallon last week and are now in S1 this week. You also have, let's see, there's the usual Kwanga Golds, the Sino Mobambas, the Virginilis. Here's the Flavescent females. They've moved up along with the Venustus. Still small, but hopefully I can put some size on them to breed with my main male. I'm also getting another one of these in a new shipment this week, so it'll be a 3-1 ratio. Alright, let's move on to the tank. We're starting up on the table at B2 over here. There are a breeding colony of Textilis in here. They're a little dark in contrast to the tank. As you can see, they're a little dark fish. We'll get to those yellow labs next door in a bit. But they've gotten big enough. They've been in my system for a while, so I figured we should try breeding them, and here they are. 2 weeks ago, I believe the Apaches were in here. They since have left. Although there actually was a Red Zebra OB breeding colony in here last week that did not end well. It actually resulted in me losing one of my females. So that happened in between this and the Apaches, but everything is well now. Alright, so they're pretty obvious to see from the other side, but in B1, yes, there are yellow labs. They're very bright, so very hard to miss. They're actually coming up to the camera, unlike most of my other fish in these tanks. They usually like to hide. That's my main male right there, the large one. He's been in my 150 for a while. He's come down here. Along with that, some females as well. This one came from the 150, and the other two from the 135. They are replacing, I don't think I remember who was in here last week. I think it might have been the Dragon Bloods 2 weeks ago. But they're in here now, and they're doing good. So moving right on over to I7. So we're going around the top first. In here, there's an Apache female. If you remember the Apache female who was holding in the 20 gallon, this is her. She's holding currently. She's been holding since that video, so probably about 2 weeks now. So she's getting up there. She'll probably be spitting within the next week. So that's good. She's been doing pretty well since. In I1, you'll notice something very obvious, that there's a big blue box in here. This is a new breeding box I'm trying out, and that is one of my swallowtail females inside. It's actually a really awkward story. She was in there with a bunch of other females, supposedly. And what ended up happening was she was holding. So a male must have snuck into the group and made her hold. So she's in the box now. Outside the box, so that way she doesn't get bullied, is a dragon blood female, which is why the dragon bloods have moved out. She's new in here. She's only been here about 2 days. So those dragon bloods did take a long time to spawn, but as you can see, one of them did spawn. Other than that, this tank doesn't really have much change. I think last week there was a breeding, or not a breeding group, but a new quarantine shipment in here. So this fish basically stayed in this tank, and the dragon blood was put in here a couple days ago. Alright, so we've moved to the back end of the table. And now we see the EHCichlids fry over here in I4. They were in here 2 weeks ago. The female had just recently spit, and now her babies have grown a little bit. In 2 weeks, they've really grown a lot. The food I'm using has been working like a charm to grow these babies, and my camera isn't focusing on them for some reason. But I'm sure, yeah, now it is. They're getting pretty big, so they'll probably be moving up to the 30 gallons soon. Alright, moving on over to I6. So I have to step off my ladder because I'm actually too short to really look at this without a ladder. We have the Rebeskins female from last week. She's still in here in I6. I think this is maybe about 2.5 weeks, so I should expect her to be spitting within the next couple of days, which is very exciting. Not really sure how much fry she's going to get. I don't really think it's going to be that much. It's her first spawn. There's a little breeding tip. Usually on their first spawn, a fish does not give off many eggs. For example, with that EHCichlids group over there, that's about 9 of them. The female before that only had 3. Usually it takes them a couple times to really adjust to the life of holding and not eating for 21 days, and usually they have a little bit bigger spawns within the next couple of weeks. Hopping over to I5, over here is actually another Apache female. There's the Apache that we saw a little while ago. There's actually another one. This one I actually took out along with the Apache male, and they actually spawned in M1, which was interesting, but that happened. Usually that's for recovery, you know. Sometimes those breeding tanks could be a little harsh and dementing to the females, but they ended up spawning in it, so yeah, that was interesting. Anyway, we'll move on down to the lower rack. The lower rack, I meant the rack in the middle, because there is indeed a lower rack. But let's check out what's on this level. The second level is usually where I have my 30 gallons. Just 2 of them. I hope to have more 30 gallons coming up, because obviously I have a lot of fry growing out right now, so I'm going to need more of these in the coming weeks. Anyway, let's check out what's in I3. These are actually a red zebra colony that I got off of Aquabid. They're good looking fish. I haven't had any issues with them. They'll be moving out shortly. I got them, I believe, last week. One of the few changes that happened after last Monday, because there wasn't enough to warrant a video last week. But they're doing a good job. They've been healthy, so I like these fish a lot, and hopefully I can get them to breed in the future. Heading over to I2, I believe there's still some of the same culprits in here. My EHCichlids fry from a couple weeks ago, they're still in here. They've been getting very big. They're going to move up to a 55 gallon probably within the next week. And then the fish from I1 2 weeks ago are now in here, besides that swallowtail female. So basically the other 2 swallowtail females, there's the big one in the back, and the 2 venustus that also joined her. So they've moved up. Other than that, not much change, so let's move on to the big tanks. Okay, so this is my 135 gallon. This tank next week will actually be getting an overhaul. I'm going to completely change the decor in here. I'm going to try and make it a little more natural, so a lot more rock structures and rocks in general in here, and get rid of some of these weird decorations like the plant or that house or the ruins over there. Really try and change this tank up. Actually, this week I'm going to be doing that with the 150 gallons, so check that out. That'll probably be coming out on Thursday. Anyway, let's start diving into some fish. Here is the red zebra OB male from the failed spawn. This is my main breeder male here. He bred with this female, along with another female who died in the process. It was not a good environment. I think he was just too big for those females. Either that or he just stressed them out too much. So it really didn't work. Some of my Azorius, or actually I think all my Azorius, have moved up here. I believe this is I think that's the female. There's another Azorius down here. And then another Azorius right here. And then there's where's the fourth one? The fourth one's right here. So they've all moved up. I believe this is the male right here. I'm not really sure. The male hasn't really changed his color from the females. I'm waiting for him to do that so I can finally figure out who my male is. There's my blue dolphin right there. My Insignis from that spawn 2 weeks ago. She's here as well. There's a yellowtail ACI in the back. There's an Ortis getting bullied as usual. That's actually my male Ortis. Very hard to tell. His color is really dulled down a lot because of this big Ortis over here. She's actually been very mean. She's pretty much been a really bad bully in here. I was hoping some of the larger fish would calm her down, but that has not been the case. So I'm probably not going to be breeding Ortis with this female anyway. Or if I need to, I'll have to wait till the other Ortis get some size on them so they can handle this female. But she has not been kind to my other fish. Here's my Quanga Gold male. He's moved up. There's my Apache male in the back, who spawned with those two females. He's kind of dulled down since, but that's the norm when going into a much bigger tank. My Insignis male just swam right into the camera, actually. I think he likes being shown off. He's a beautiful fish. A lot of personality with this one. I really like this guy. There's my Daktari male. He's currently my largest fish, sitting at 6 inches. Although a lot of these haps, like the blue dolphin and the livingstone eye, are definitely going to outgrow him in the coming years, along with the Venustus as well. Venustus, they're going to get very big. Speaking of that, here's my livingstone eye. He's small for a livingstone eye. He's probably maybe all of, I'd say maybe 2.5, 3 inches. But he's going to be more like 10, 11 when he grows up, so he'll get very big. There's my Sinomabamba male. He's moved up as well. And there's my filter tube, which actually has a long story to it. One of these little Johanni actually got sucked up my filter. I found out when I was cleaning out my canister, which is right down there. You can see it. Yeah, there it is. My Eheim. I was cleaning it out, and on the bottom, there was a Johanni flopping around. That actually doesn't have the grate that's supposed to be over that, like in my 150. I'll show that to you when I go up there. It actually came without it when I got this filter, so there's a big hole in it, and these Johanni, they're very slim and narrow. One of them slipped right under it. I don't know how long it was missing. I actually checked back in some of my prior videos, and I did not see that fish. So, I have no clue how long that thing was in there, but it survived, and it's doing well. It's in the 150 now, so it doesn't get sucked up by a filter. But it's doing well. I think that's pretty much it. I'm actually going to be doing a full showcase video this Wednesday. I'm going to be showing you and highlighting every single fish in this tank. That actually includes, if you can see him in there, my pleco, my big albino pleco in there. Basically every single fish and basically their story, how I got them. I'm going to be showing off every single one. So that'll be cool. You'll really get to see, how long I've had some of these fish. Hint, that one I've had for a very long time. Anyway, let's move on up to the 150 gallon. Lastly, here's the 150 gallon. A couple fish moved up here. I'll highlight those right now. My main dragon blood breeder male is up here. He's looking really good. As you know, he used to be in the 135, but he's actually switched tanks. Along with this dragon blood female, and there's another dragon blood female. She's right there. Found her. This tank's so big, I have a hard time finding some fish. There's a couple other highlights in here, including my other dragon blood male. This is actually my backup male in case anything happens to the main male. I have this little male here. I'm going to try and breed him soon, just to make sure he produces good fry. Being that he could be the future of my dragon blood breeding. I have a rusty cichlid here. He's cool looking. I definitely want to invest in more rusties. Definitely could breed those. My main Java Reef male in here. Some dragon blood OBs. There's a red zebra OB in here. Obviously my Apache. There's two different kinds of Apache. The ones that I have downstairs, and there's also this one. He's a gorgeous male. I love this fish. He was actually a pickup at a Petco too. But sometimes Petco fish can be a lot better than you think, and this is a perfect example of that. Another fish I wanted to show, if I find him, I'll show him later. Here's my white top afro. He's swimming around. There. In the plant, that is the Johanni that got sucked up into my filter. Taiwan Reef's blocking him. I opened up the canister filter last week, and this little fish was inside of it, underneath the filtration on the bottom. It wasn't in too bad shape. It was actually looking pretty healthy, just a little thin. And I took it out right away. I put it in M1 to recover a little bit, and now it's up here. I'm not putting it back in the tank where it got sucked up. So at least this little guy doesn't have to worry about that anymore. As you can see, a little clown lab swims into my screen. Here's a peacock. Thought it was a female. Might end up being a male sulfur, not sulfurhead, but a dragon blood, as you can tell by the red lining there. My big female dragon blood OB. There's my sunshine. Actually, show this off. This is my bristlenose, or common pleca. He's actually going to be moving to M1 because that tank is getting a little dirty, so I'm just going to let him clean that up. Because I have this 12-incher in here. He's very big. In the back there, you can't really see him because of the bubble stream in the way. Other than that, there's my cobalt blue females, my Taiwan Reef right there. He's doing good. This is my main male red top afra. Other than that, that's really it. So make sure to look out on Wednesday and Thursday for those videos. Thursday, I'm going to be completely redoing this tank, head to toe. So this tank will look a lot different in the next inventory update, and also look different in that video. And Wednesday, I'll be coming out with my 135 gallon showcase, basically showing you every little bit of information of every fish and everything that is in that tank. Alright, so look out for those. Make sure to like and subscribe.